Everything you were taught about getting older is wrong. We've been told life peaks early, then slowly declines. But psychologically, that story is incomplete. Life doesn't shrink after 40. It reorganizes, and understanding that matters. Around midlife, many people notice a quiet internal shift. Nothing dramatic, just a sense that something no longer fits. On the surface, life still looks stable. Career, responsibilities, routine. Yet, the inner drive feels weaker than it used to. Goals that once motivated you, success, recognition, and speed, they stop producing the same energy. You keep moving forward out of habit, but internally, something feels misaligned, like following outdated instructions. Carl Jung described this stage clearly. He called it individuation, when survival stops being the main psychological task. Earlier in life, the question is simple: how do I succeed in the world? Later, that question changes to something deeper: who am I beneath the roles I've built? Most people call this a midlife crisis, but that label misunderstands what's actually happening. This is not a breakdown, it is not failure, and it is not weakness. It is a system update, a shift in how meaning, identity, and motivation are generated. And when you don't recognize the update, life feels broken even when nothing externally is. Before 40, motivation is mostly external. Deadlines, competition, approval. These forces work when the mind is focused on survival and social positioning. After 40, those same forces lose power. They still exist, but they no longer sustain energy. Meaning begins to replace pressure as the primary fuel. Values matter more than rewards. Alignment matters more than acceleration. When actions align with internal values instead of external demands, motivation returns quieter, steadier, and far more durable and stable. Midlife also reduces your tolerance for goals that aren't authentic. Ambitions built around status, comparison, or validation begin to feel strangely heavy, even when they once felt exciting. Jung described this as confronting the shadow, the realization that parts of your life were constructed to satisfy expectations and please others. What once felt impressive now feels hollow, and forcing yourself to care becomes exhausting. Your mind isn't rebelling, nor sabotaging you. It's recalibrating towards psychological truth. After 40, time suddenly shifts from this abstract concept to a very real, very tangible thing. It becomes visible in a way it never was before. You start seeing it everywhere, in the lines on your face, the gray in your hair, and the way moments slip by faster than you can catch them. This awareness can create anxiety if misunderstood. But psychologically, perceived scarcity sharpens focus. It's like our internal radar gets way more sensitive, pinpointing exactly what we need to do, and suddenly, everything else just fades into the background. You say no more deliberately. Attention becomes intentional instead of automatic. Earlier in life, identity is built from roles and functions. We pick our sense of self from the roles we play and the things we do. Job, status, function. After 40, those labels weaken psychologically. You start to lose their grip, freeing you to explore who you are beyond titles, roles, and external expectations. This shift can feel kinda disorienting, even scary at first, like you're losing your footing or identity's slipping away. But it also creates space for a more grounded sense of self. One of the most underestimated changes after 40 is emotional regulation. You find yourself hitting the brakes, taking a breath before responding, reflecting on what truly matters to you. You stop the need to win every disagreement or prove a point, 'cause your sense of self ain't tied to being right all the time. Setbacks recover faster because identity is less fragile. Clarity replaces impulsiveness, and that is a quiet strength. Before hitting 40, moving fast often feels like you're crushing it and making real progress. After 40, depth begins to compound and rewarding. As life progresses, relationships may become fewer in number, but they grow deeper, more authentic, and genuinely meaningful. Skills mature instead of expanding endlessly. Noise loses appeal, substance gains importance. This is the defining choice of midlife development. You either resist these internal changes as they arise, pushing against growth and discomfort, or you consciously integrate them, using awareness and intention to evolve, adapt, and align more fully with who you are becoming over time. Resistance fragments identity and drains energy. Integration creates coherence, the foundation of wisdom. Here's the reframe that changes how the stage feels. Your 40s are not the second half of life. They are the second architecture. The first builds outward, survival, structure, and achievement. The second builds inward, meaning, alignment, and depth. So the outward finally makes sense. Feeling lost doesn't mean you failed. It means the rules changed. And once you understand the new rules guiding this phase of life, everything begins to feel clearer, more predictable, and easier to navigate with confidence and intention. This becomes one of the most focused phases of your life. Not a decline, but a recalibration. If this helped you understand what you're experiencing, subscribe to Mind Engineering. Because life does not end after 40, it finally starts asking better questions.